Well, hello there, friends. It's so lovely to have you with me today. Tell me, have you ever woken up feeling stiffer than usual, brushed it off as just getting older, and carried on with your day? Maybe your knees grumble a bit more, or your hands feel puffy and you think, well, this is just part of life after 65. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. But what if I told you those little aches might be whispering something important, something we shouldn't ignore? You see, there's a quiet troublemaker that often flies under the radar as we age. Inflammation. Now, I know that word sounds technical, maybe even a little scary. But stick with me. This isn't about complicated science. It's about something far more personal. How you feel when you get out of bed in the morning. How easily you can play with your grandkids. Whether you have the energy to tend your garden or meet friends for lunch. Inflammation isn't just about swollen ankles or sore joints. When it lingers quietly in the background, it can become a root cause of so many things we dread: heart trouble, fuzzy thinking, even diabetes. The good news: we have more power over it than we realize. Today, I'll share 4 common mistakes many of us over 65 make that accidentally feed this inflammation, and simple, practical ways to fix them. No drastic diets, no exhausting workouts, just gentle tweaks that fit right into your life. We'll cover 2 of those mistakes right now and 2 more next time. Think of this as a cozy chat between friends, because that's exactly what we do. So let's start with the first mistake, one I see so often and honestly one I've made myself. Mistake number 1. Brushing off low-grade inflammation as normal aging. It's easy to do, isn't it? You feel a bit more tired than you did 10 years ago. Your lower back grumbles when you bend down. You think, well, I'm not 25 anymore, and pour another cup of coffee to push through. But here's what's happening beneath the surface. Inflammation isn't always loud. It doesn't always shout with red-hot pain. Sometimes it's a slow, quiet hum in your body, like background static on a radio. And when we ignore that hum year after year, it can quietly damage our cells, our arteries, even our memory. I remember my neighbor, Martha, wonderful woman, sharp as a tack. She'd say, "Oh, this stiffness is just my new normal." Until one day her doctor explained her normal stiffness was actually chronic inflammation nudging her toward pre-diabetes. That woke her up, and it woke me up too. So what's the fix? First, become a detective of your own body. Keep a little journal for a week. Just note when you feel extra tired, puffy, or achy. Did it happen after eating that frozen dinner, or when you skipped your walk? You're not complaining. You're gathering clues. Second, talk to your doctor about a simple blood test. Ask them to check your CRP levels. That's C-reactive protein. It's a tiny marker that can tell a big story about hidden inflammation. It's one test, one conversation. And Martha? She did this, adjusted a few habits, and now she's back to line dancing on Fridays. Now let's talk about mistake number 2, relying too heavily on quick fixes like painkillers. Now, please don't misunderstand me. Medications have their place. If your doctor prescribed them, they're there for a reason. But here's the catch. Many common over-the-counter pills, like ibuprofen or naproxen, are like pressing mute on a fire alarm while the fire still smolders. They ease the symptom, thank goodness for that, but they don't put out the inflammation flame underneath. And long-term use? Well, they can irritate your stomach, tax your kidneys, and ironically, sometimes make inflammation worse down the road. My dear friend Frank learned this the hard way. He'd take a pill every morning for his stiff shoulders like clockwork. Just part of my routine, he'd say, but his stomach started bothering him, and his stiffness wasn't actually improving. His doctor helped him see those pills were a bandage, not a cure. So what's the fix? First, never stop or change meds without your doctor's guidance. That's crucial. But together, you can explore gentler partners to those medications. For example, try tart cherry juice. Sounds simple, right? but studies show it's packed with natural compounds that calm inflammation. Frank mixes a splash with his morning water, no fancy routine, just a small shift. Or consider ginger tea. Grate a little fresh ginger, steep it in hot water, add honey if you like. It's soothing, anti-inflammatory, and costs pennies. Frank does this while reading the paper. Small steps, big relief. These first two mistakes, ignoring, the whispers of inflammation and leaning too hard on quick fixes, are so common because they feel easier in the moment. But you deserve more than easier. You deserve vibrant, comfortable days filled with what you love. And the beautiful thing, fixing them doesn't require overhauling your life, just tiny, kind adjustments. So next time, we'll dive into 2 more mistakes, including one that might surprise you about the food in your pantry. But for today, why not pour yourself a cup of ginger tea, open that little notebook, and just notice. Your body's been talking to you for years. Today's the day to start listening. Until then, take good care of yourselves. I'll see you soon. Welcome back, friends. I hope you've been kind to yourselves since we last chatted. Maybe you even tried that ginger tea. Now, let's pick up right where we left off. We've talked about 2 big inflammation mistakes, ignoring those quiet whispers in our bodies and relying too much on quick fixes. Today we'll uncover 2 more mistakes that might hit closer to home than you'd expect. And I promise, the fixes are simpler than you think. Sits in the armchair, setting the tea aside. So let's dive into mistake number 3, overlooking hidden sugar in everyday foods. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't eat candy. I skip dessert. But here's the sneaky truth. Sugar loves to hide where we least expect it. That healthy whole-grain cereal, that pasta sauce in your pantry, even your favorite salad dressing, they often pack more sugar than a chocolate bar. And after 65, our bodies process sugar differently. Too much of it doesn't just raise blood sugar. It fuels inflammation like gasoline on a campfire. Take my friend Clara. She prided herself on eating sensible meals, canned soup for lunch, a granola bar for a snack. But she was always tired. Her joints ached, and her doctor warned her about creeping inflammation. When she started reading labels, she was shocked. Her healthy soup had 12 grams of sugar per serving. That's 3 teaspoons, her granola bar, another 4. Day after day, all that hidden sugar kept her inflammation simmering. The fix? Become a label detective. You don't need a magnifying glass, just glance at the added sugars line on nutrition labels. Aim for less than 4 grams per serving. Swap smarter, not harder. Instead of canned soup, try tossing veggies, beans, and broth in a pot. Frozen veggies work beautifully. Swap granola bars for a handful of almonds and an apple. Choose plain yogurt and add your own berries. It's sweeter than you'd think. Clara started doing this, and within weeks, her energy soared. I feel like I've turned back the clock, she told me, and her inflammation markers? Down by half. Now let's talk about mistake number 4, sitting too much and moving too little, but in the wrong way. Wait. Did I just say moving too little can be a problem? Absolutely. But here's the twist. How we move matters just as much as how much we move. You might think, I walk every day or I tend my garden, and that's wonderful. But if you spend the rest of the day in a chair, barely shifting position, your body stiffens up. Stagnation is inflammation's best friend. Fluids, pool, muscles tighten, and that low-grade fire keeps burning. Think of your body like a gentle stream. When water flows, it stays fresh and clear. When it sits still, it grows murky. Same with us. Now, I'm not saying you need to run marathons or lift weights. In fact, pushing too hard can worsen inflammation. Remember Bill, my old fishing buddy? He'd sit for hours in his boat, then overdo it mowing his lawn in one go. His back would scream for days. He thought he was staying active, but his body was stuck in a cycle of strain and stillness. The fix: gentle, frequent movement throughout the day. Break up long sits every 30 minutes. Just for 1 minute, stand and sway side to side. Lift your knees gently while holding a chair. Roll your shoulders like you're drawing little circles with your elbows. And rethink exercise. Instead of 1 long walk, try 2 shorter strolls. Add seated twists while watching TV. Inhale, twist gently to the right. Exhale back to center. Repeat left. It wakes up your lymphatic system, your body's natural cleanup crew. Bill started setting a timer. Every half hour, he'd stand, stretch, toward the ceiling and take 3 deep breaths. On bad weather days, he'd march in place during the news. Feels silly at first, he laughed, but my back hasn't felt this loose in years. So there we are, mistakes 3 and 4, hidden sugars sneaking into our pantries, and well-meaning movement patterns that accidentally let inflammation settle in. But look at Clara and Bill. Tiny shifts changed everything for them. Now next time we'll wrap up with 2 final mistakes, including one that might surprise you about something we all cherish. But today, why not open your pantry and glance at just 1 label, or set a little timer to remind you to stretch? Don't aim for perfect, just gentle progress. Remember, friends, you're not fighting your body, you're partnering with it. And every small step you take, it's a love letter to the life you deserve to live fully. Until next time, be kind to yourselves. I'm cheering you on. Hello again, my dear friends. It warms my heart to be back with you. Last time we talked about hidden sugars sneaking into our pantries and how even our well-meaning movements might need a little fine-tuning. Today, we're wrapping up with the final 2 inflammation mistakes, and I think you'll find these especially close to the heart. Let's pick up right where we left off. Mistake number 5, underestimating the power of connection or lack of it. Now this might surprise you. We often think of inflammation as purely physical, diet, movement, pills. But here's a truth. As old as time, loneliness burns. Studies show chronic isolation can spike inflammation markers as sharply as a poor diet. When we feel disconnected, whether grieving a loss, living far from family, or just feeling unseen, our bodies literally sound the alarm. Stress hormones flood our system, keeping inflammation simmering like a pot left on low heat. My cousin Helen lived this after her husband passed. She stopped going to her book club, skipped church, even turned down lunches with her daughters. "I'm just tired," she'd say. But her arthritis flared terribly, her blood pressure climbed, and her doctor found her inflammation markers were sky high. It wasn't until her granddaughter started video calling her every evening just to share silly cat videos that something shifted. Helen laughed again. Slowly, she reconnected with her garden club. Her pain eased. Her doctor was stunned. That's no coincidence. The fix? Tend your social garden like you would roses. Start micro. Send 1 handwritten note a week. Call an old friend during your morning coffee. Embrace purposeful togetherness. Join a gentle Tai Chi class. Volunteer to read at the library or share potluck Sundays with neighbors. If leaving home is hard, virtual connections count. Grandkids teaching you video calls. That's medicine. Online forums for birdwatchers or painters. Community. Helen plants flowers with her neighbor every Tuesday now. Talking and digging in the dirt, she smiles, is my best anti-inflammatory. Now our final mistake, number 6. Sacrificing sleep for productivity, or accepting poor sleep as normal. Oh, how many of us do this? I'll just finish this show. Or I've always been a night owl, or what's the use, I'll just wake up anyway. But here's what happens while you sleep. Your brain flushes out toxins. Your muscles repair. Your inflammation levels naturally. Dial down. Skimp on sleep. It's like refusing to let a cleanup crew into your house. The mess, inflammation piles up. My friend Stan bragged he only needed 5 hours. Got things to do, he'd say. But his morning stiffness felt like cement. His focus was foggy, and his CRP levels were stubbornly high. His doctor asked one simple question: "Stan, when did you last wake up feeling rested?" That quiet question changed everything. The fix: build a sleep sanctuary, not just a bedroom. Dim early, an hour before bed, lower lights and skip screens. Try soft music or an audiobook instead. Cool and cave-like. Keep your room slightly cool, around 65 degrees and 18°, and pitch dark. Blackout curtains or a simple sleep mask work wonders. The 15-minute rule. If you're awake longer than 15 minutes, get up. Sit in dim light and sip warm, caffeine-free tea until drowsy. No clock watching. Try magnesium. Many of us over 65 are I deficient. A nightly magnesium glycinate supplement, ask your doctor first, can calm nerves and muscles. Stan takes his with chamomile tea. Now he sleeps like his old beagle buddy. So there we are, friends. All 6 mistakes laid bare. From ignoring our body's whispers to skipping sleep, each one quietly fans the flames of inflammation. But look at what we've uncovered together. You learned to listen to your body's gentle hints. You found kinder partners for pain than pills. You became a sugar detective in your own pantry. You turned stillness into gentle, healing movement. You nurtured connection like precious medicine, and you reclaimed sleep as sacred repair time. Every single fix we've shared. It's small, doable. Built for your life right now. You don't need perfection, just persistence. Start with one change that sings to you. Maybe it's swapping that sugary snack for almonds and an apple. Maybe it's calling a friend while you stretch toward the ceiling. Or perhaps it's brewing a cup of chamomile and declaring 9 p.m. your peace hour. This little plant? It's like us. It doesn't need a storm of change, just consistent, tender care. A little water, some light. Room to grow, and look how it thrives. So I have 2 requests for you today, friends. Share your story below. Did ginger tea ease your stiffness? Did reconnecting lift your spirit? Your wisdom might light the path for someone feeling lost. Be your own gentle gardener. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't. We'll keep nurturing your journey together. Click that like button if this felt helpful. It helps me know what serves you best. Remember, aging isn't about decline. It's about refinement, wisdom, and the profound power of small, loving choices. You have everything within you right now to calm inflammation and step into brighter, lighter days. Here's to listening to your whispers and turning them into strength. Until next time, be wonderfully kind to yourselves. You're so deeply worth it. And that brings us to the end of our journey together, friends. Before I go, let me explain why we took 3 conversations to cover these 6 inflammation mistakes. Real change, lasting change, doesn't happen in a rushed avalanche of information. It needs breathing room, space to reflect. That's why we broke this into parts, so you could try 1 or 2 tweaks at a time, feel the difference, and build confidence. Because you deserve more than a quick fix. You deserve transformation that sticks. And isn't that the beautiful paradox of life? After 65, society told us this chapter meant shrinking, but you're proving it's about expanding. Expanding your curiosity, your freedom, your joy. When you calm inflammation, you're not just easing aches, you're clearing the path to finally explore those sights, hobbies, and connections you've always dreamed of. That garden tour in Tuscany, learning watercolor, Tuesday picnics with friends, that's what's waiting when your body feels lighter. So here's your invitation from all of us at your channel, name here. Start with just one change today. Tart. Cherry juice in your water. A 5-minute stretch break? Small steps build mighty bridges. Share your story below. Did better sleep sharpen your mind? Did reconnecting ease your heart? Your wisdom lights the way for others. Join our elderly paradox family. Tap subscribe and that like button. It helps us create more content to help you live your boldest, brightest adventures. Remember, this isn't about adding years to your life. It's about adding life to your years. So go gently, explore bravely, and know we're right here cheering you on. Thank you for trusting us with your time. Now go uncover those beautiful horizons you've yet to explore. We'll see you right here on Elderly Paradox for the next adventure. Thank you.